In this lesson, we will cover the scripting listener, scripting editor, visual scripts, and macro recorder. Let's start, of course, with the scripting listener. You can open it like this. You can also open it using F11. It appears as well. And you can also bring it up here by right-clicking and selecting scripting listener. What is this window? Basically, this is the scripting listener window itself. You can enter single line commands there. For example, a colon. Hello. Then we close it. Press enter. Chloe is typing. You can enter all sorts of single line commands here, and it prints them. There's also Python here. I won't be programming in it right now. I'll just be using it to record some lessons, for example, on how to do something in Python. Since we already have the listener window open, I'll also go over the macro recorder. The macro recorder is a tool where you enable it. And if you, for example, create something, it will record what you changed. If you add geometry, it will indicate how much you added. If you add show geometry, it will record that as well. If you turn it off, it will stop recording. Let's erase all of this. It will record Maxscript commands. For example, this is also a search for scripting listener commands to replace something in the code. This is edit. These are the kinds of commands. Undo, redo, cut text, copy text, paste text, delete something, clear all, select all, file, create file, open file, run. That's basically everything about the scripting listener. Let's close it. Scripting editor. We'll be working with it. You can open a bunch of these windows in it, but not infinitely, of course. You just need to close some of them if necessary. There's also a file open option here, and you can see a lot more commands here. Export something in various formats, run all sorts of tools, create things. By the way, if you click create new right here under tools, new road, it opens up Visual Maxscripts for us. Windows various windows that we have open and help. If you press phone, it opens the Autodesk help website here. Are all sorts of functions. You can look through them yourself here. There are a lot. And here you can write multi-line commands. You can enter as many lines as you want here and then run them. Now let's go over Visual Scripts itself. You can call it up here. By clicking right here, you click and a window like this opens. The second option is to click here on the wrench icon. This is called Utilities. You click on Visual Maxscript and a window like this opens. If, for example, we create a script of this size, let's say we create it there. We'll start with the very first command, which is to select something. Click here and, for example, choose the size of our script. This button creates a grid like this. This button erases everything. This button pastes from another window, for example. This one copies within this window. And this one takes everything from here and deletes it all. And you can then paste it into another window by clicking here. This is to save, this is to open, and this is for a new file. Let's start with this one. This is a bitmap image. I won't be using it in the script later. This button, of course, I will use the button. I use the button most often. For example, create box. Create box. I also duplicate, it copy, paste in, call it create a sphere. Let's move on to the next button. The next one is a check button. This material button here allows you to select the material. This is pick. The pick button is a tool used specifically for selecting an object within the interface, allowing you to choose items easily. Let's go ahead and create this button as well, just like we did with the previous elements. We'll add it right here. This is a check button, a verification button. For example, here it is. When you press it, it will stay active until you press it again and turns off. There's also a color picker that appeared. That's the next one. This is for choosing a color. We'll erase everything we need to. Here there will be a square that's blue by default. When you click on it, you'll be able to choose a color. I'll send this to a select dialog. Next is the combo box. A combo box is like a list, but it can contain images and buttons, unlike a list box. In a list box, you can only put numbers. For example, 1, 2, 3, and so on. But not just numbers, you can also add text. And you can also use variable names. You can create a drop list right here. A drop list is, well, it's a kind of list. Let's add it. Now let's remove everything from here. And what will be there? For example, let's count together. 1, then another 1, followed by 2, and finally 3. This simple sequence on 1, 2, 3 demonstrates the pattern. Now this will be a list with 1, 2, and 3 numbers. This is needed, for example, for selecting something when you click and there's a list, say box, sphere, cylinder. Let's send a little list down here. This is a list that will drop down when you click on the arrow. And this is a whole box list. What is that? This is where you click here, for example, 1. There you go. 1, 2, 2, and 3. And now, right here, at this very moment, you have a choice. 1, 2, and 3. Let's just go ahead and call it, say, the box. Box list. Let's call this a drop list, at least for the time being. Drop list. And if we go further, this is an edit box. This is where you'll be entering text, any arbitrary text. Let's also write text here. Perfect. We also need to move it a bit so the text label doesn't overlap. The visual script won't be visible. Next, this is text editing. This is just a label, let's say. This allows us in general to create something in 2 groups. Of course, it would be more convenient to use them. Alright, let's try it here. Here is the select. Let's move the button. Again. Over here. Here. And what shall we write here? Sphere. Sphere. Here. This button. What about here? Label. Will this create a sphere? I don't know why, but sometimes it's useful, this label. Right now I made it not for convenience, but rather to clearly show what it actually does. You can't change this label in any way at all, only with this specific editor here. If you're already using a script, for example, if it's encoded in MSE, you can only decrypt it again and then change it there. And here, in this editor, we'll write box. Box and sphere. Let's move on. The group. That very group box is needed for convenience, as it makes things much easier to manage. You can put anything in there. Buttons, all sorts of lists, everything can be placed inside such a group box. It's like a group, but not for objects, it's for the tools of the visual script or Maxscript. For the group, we draw a little square like this and write group box. Let's move this up to the top. and we'll name the group box create. Great, that's it. Now, at this stage, only the elements or items that have actually been created will be visible and present here in our workspace. To make things more organized and easier to find, let's take the color picker tool and move it into its own separate category, which will be positioned off to the side for better accessibility. For this new category, we'll use a clear and descriptive label. Let's call it select. This way, it stands out and is easy to identify. See, just like this. Notice that this category will exist independently, without being grouped together with any other tools or elements. Next, I'll take this particular item and place it into the group labeled list. This means that all of these different lists, which might include various options or selections, will be collected together under the lists group. So to clarify, we have a group called list, and within it we have multiple lists, making it easier to manage and locate them. Now, and for the color picker itself, I need to decide on, and I moved it over like this. That's it. Now there's just this little script file left. And here's the saving. Let's name it. I'll overwrite this one. Yes! Save as... This place here is also useless, so I'll overwrite this one too. Now I'll open the editor again. File, open, and I'll open this one. That's it! Apparently it's opened. I'm running the create dialog command. It creates a window for the application to display its contents. Otherwise, without this crucial step of creating the window, nothing will appear on the screen at all. Even if you disable this, nothing at all appears, because it says there are no errors. You see this? Okay, it wrote. But nothing appears, because create dialog is supposed to display our window. Let's copy the name of our window, paste it in, and run it. It gives an error because in list box we have 1, 2, 3. This needs to be changed to 1 in quotes, then a comma, 2 in quotes, then a comma, and 3 in quotes. But for now, I'll just deactivate this function. And that's it. The views appear. Create box doesn't do anything. Nothing at all. Select, as I mentioned, will be used to select our objects from the scene. We turn on select, choose, and it selects everything. Color is for choosing a color. Let's pick red now. Create box and create Xbox. Don't do anything yet. Fourth, let's write something so that the create a sphere and create box buttons do something. Create. Button. Sphere. Pressed. Wait. It's not called sphere. It's called... There. Like this. Button. Full. Pressed. Do. Meaning to do something. And let's write what it should do. For layer. Well, it appears that the button is currently deactivated at the moment, for now. Let's remove the deactivation. Now, let's also make sure to write on the button labeled BTN, as well as on the button that is called BTN3 pressed. This will ensure both buttons are properly handled in our process. Do. Open it. Box. Alright, enter, close it. When you click create a box, box appears, but when you click create a sphere, nothing appears. Let's rewrite it because we wrote bottom, but we shouldn't write bottom. So when you click sphere, a sphere appears. When you click create a box appears. Select create a sphere, select and choose the sphere. Select create a box, select and choose the box. Here we write so that our lists work. Let's write this and remove the deactivation from both. Let's remove it because the names are deactivated here. And let's add it here, right here. Alright. You know, alright, and there's nothing else here. Let's scroll down here as well. Alright. So, alright, 2 plus, yes, that's right, but here an error occurs. First of all, because we have an extra comma, let's erase it. Also, right here, we'll write selection. Two, 1. We see the scalp. Now there's no more error. Now we have list. Knock. Now we can select something from each one here. Here, 1, 2, 3. Specify the color. Create a sphere. Create a box. Let's also try writing it like this. Here we'll write my box space equals space box. A box appears. Everything worked. Now let's right weight minus. Here it also says my box dot wire. Space equals space color 0. Null pile. Null. Let's try it like this. We see a black block appears. And now let's change this to 115. We see a cube appears, which we don't need. Create a box, and it sets it to gray. Appears say, create a sphere. A sphere appears. Select with the selection key. List. This is a drop-down list. And here is such a box list. And here you can enter any text you want. Something like this, a simple script. I don't know what it's for. Here is my script panel with the scripts I've written here, advanced export and so on. This is the end of the lesson.